Welcome to part 3 of how to do the scientific method. And this aptly is the most important part of the scientific method that has made scientific research and experiments and investigations so reliable and being able to be built on time and time again is because every time a researcher carries out a pivotal experiment, they create a clear, concise method that anyone can reproduce to get similar or the same results. Without a good, clear method, your results cannot be duplicated, which means that your results are effectively void. If the experiment can be duplicated, then what you have researched, the discoveries you have made, are valid and can be used for further research to further the frontier of science. So, while we hammer this into you at school, it is a really important part if you are going on to become a scientist or a medical practitioner in the future and want your research published. So how do we carry out an effective method? Well, here are a few key areas you must consider. So, number 1, write it for the correct audience. Now, if you're in one of my classes, I will encourage you to write it for the year level below, or for the year level below that has just come into the year level you currently are in, so that they're given this experiment and I might be saying, look, a student last year did this. Can you repeat exactly what they did? Did they write a clear and effective method? If you're doing this, you're thinking, right, what do I need to tell that student, that other researcher, that other scientist about the way I did things? Did I do things that he may not know how to do yet? That is really, really fundamentally important. Pitch it to the audience that you will want to recreate this experiment. And the best way to remember that, particularly at school, is for the year level below coming into the year level you are now. Secondly, do not summarize. Be clear. These two sort of go together. What I mean by do not summarize is you need to write out step by step instructions, bullet point them, be clear. Don't assume anything. Write down what you're doing. Make sure that you include it in your method. A really effective way to remind yourselves of how to do your method is to actually film you doing it. That's even more of a robust method to actually make a quick video, an instructional video like I'm doing here, demonstrating how to do your method. If you can and are technologically competent, I would really encourage your methods to be done by video. If you can't do them by video, and that's okay, the next key thing you need to do is include diagrams. Diagrams of your setup, diagrams of maybe it's a top-down layout of a plot that you're planting specific plants in areas based on soil type, whatever it is, include a diagram. You learn in year 9 how to draw all these apparatus and things like that. That is so you can include diagrams later on down the track in your experiment, so that when someone comes to repeat it, they can look at what they're doing, look at your image, and they can see you are doing is exactly what they did. Why do you think they include diagrams in instruction manuals? Well, a diagram is the universal language. It doesn't matter what country you're from, you will often understand a diagram more than the language that the instructions are written in. So include diagrams, please. So the scientific method, really important you do not rush this step. Include everything that you do. More importantly, when we come to evaluating how our results were gathered, we might actually need to come back to our method and tweak it. We might be getting results that are all wrong, and we might need to come back to our method and see where it all went wrong. Things like we might have not included where to or what variables to control. The last thing that is even more important than doing the basics is to include your 3 types of variables. Now, sometimes people do these specifically in a section before they start writing their method, but you must include your independent variable, your dependent variable, and your controlled variables. What are you going to change to see if that affects the experiment? What are you measuring specifically and how? Okay. What amounts are you changing here? What are you actually measuring here? And what is staying the same and by how much? Specifics, specifics, specifics. I think I'm going to write that up as a key word for this. Okay, units are really important. Measurements are really important. Numbers are really important. Be specific in your method. So to summarize, write it for the correct audience. If in doubt, write it for the year level below you. Do not summarize and be clear. Do a video of your demonstration of your method so people can watch your video clearly and see what you're doing. If not, write step-by-step instructions and bullet point them, or write step 1, step 2, step 3. Include diagrams if a video is not an option. Again, make sure a diagram is nice and clear. And you must include throughout your method your independent variable, dependent variable, and controlled variables. This is why I went through these right at the start, so you know what these are now. The thing I will change, the thing I'm measuring, the things that will stay the same. As always, guys, anything in this video that you need to clarify, please come see me in class. I'll see you then.